Hello everyone, it's Jamarl Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Let's hop across the pond. I haven't done European politics for a bit. Mad Max Brexit. That's what I've been calling it. I've been calling it Mad Max Brexit. Seeing as they've described a scenario, or the feeling, let's say it that way, has been apocalyptic. Like, in one respect, we're hoarding medications just in case. What do you mean you're hoarding medications? I mean, the very act that you're telling me you're hoarding medications doesn't make me feel safe. That makes me feel like, oh my God, we're going to run out of medications. They're making preparations for a Mad Max Brexit. Now, for about a year, okay, maybe that's too long. I might be lying. But for a while, I've said, I don't know how you do this. And the European Union has nothing to lose. They do, but it's not significant from the standpoint of what Britain has to lose in this. My point was, there are two problems. Well, let's get to what took place first, and let's get into the weeds. There was a conference at Salisbury, Austria. The prime minister goes, the idea being that there was going to be some kind of, workaround and making things work and getting things moving with regards to a Chequers plan. And I think I said before that Chequers plan was dead on arrival because they've said over and over again that the Chequers plan was dead on arrival. And she took that Chequers plan there, and that Chequers plan was, guess what, dead on arrival. She was humiliated. She was utterly, completely, incomprehensibly humiliated. They went into a meeting where Theresa May was discussing some items. I'm going to show you, just look at the optics of this. The optics of this are brutal as.
After 28 leaders posed for the group photo, nearly all of them went back to the meeting room for the next session. One leader said her goodbyes. Theresa May wasn't allowed back in for their next discussion about her Brexit plan, but she waited around.
That's the leader of another country. Take a look at this. Just hanging about, loitering. She's literally loitering. I'm surprised that some random security guard didn't grab her and be like, hey, what are you doing here, miss? What are you doing here? She's loitering. The other world leaders went into a room in order to discuss her Brexit plan, the Chequers plan, and whether or not, how far the negotiations have gone. Now, seeing as all of the people that were, or so many people in her cabinet have essentially left, that there's so many divisions that are in the British government, let alone the Tory party itself, this Chequers plan was dead on arrival. And they went in to talk about Theresa May behind her back.
To make a last good impression on leaders before they return to the table. There was an embrace for President Macron, the man Britain believes is leading the hardliners who won't soften the EU position. The kisses don't seem to have worked. With Theresa May safely excluded from the meeting room, Michel Barnier was brought in the front to brief the leaders on the negotiations he's been leading for them.
Now, here's the thing. He goes in, and when they finally come back out, what it boils down to is this deal is unworkable. This deal is completely unworkable. This deal is radically unworkable. We can't touch this deal. Now, this wasn't just one person saying it. This was pretty much consensus. The one guy that did, to some degree, back her up was the guy from Hungary that was in a dictatorship, Orban. This did not go well. Let's just say it that way. Now, Theresa May steels herself and comes out with a fiery retort later on after she steeled herself. Let's see. Let's get it. This.
let me also say this. The referendum was the largest democratic exercise this country has ever undergone. To deny its legitimacy or frustrate its result threatens public trust in our democracy. That is why, for over 2 years, I have worked day and night to deliver a deal that sees the UK leave the EU. I have worked to bring people with me, even when that has not always seemed possible. No one wants a good deal more than me, but the EU should be clear. I will not overturn the result of the referendum, nor will I break up my country. We need serious engagement on resolving the 2 big problems in the negotiations, and we stand ready.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Ready indeed. Ready indeed. When she came out of that meeting room, she was pissed. She was pissed. Because I think she thought, to some degree, they were going to be able to work with her, and it was crossbow. We can't do anything with this. We've made some tepid progress, but we can't do anything with this. Mad Max Brexit seems imminent. There's not much else but with this. I mean, ultimately, this is just kind of a heads up of what's taking place right now in Britain. They are already circling from the standpoint of prime ministership. I've said it before, prime minister, zombie prime minister walking. And I would guarantee you that the people who are enemies of Theresa May, this will be used to hit her over the head. I've seen some of the press clippings, and they have been relentless. They've been relentless. 999 was one of them. Oh, God. I mean, this just looks bad. In one case, she said, you're going to respect Britain. It's like, but if you have to say that you're going to respect Britain, to some degree, you get across that you're being disrespected. And however you want to think, politics is to some degree optics, and that just looks bad. Her coming back flustered afterwards looked to some degree bad. I understand why she was flustered, but she's in a difficult situation. Your population told you to leave. In the same way that your government is paying a penalty for what your population deems to be, let's say, not working in their interest. The United States is doing the same thing with Trump. So, Theresa May getting not necessarily the best reception in Salisbury and coming back essentially chest thumping, saying that she's ready. She's ready. She's ready for the Mad Max Brexit. Batten down the hatches. Mad Max Brexit. By the way, I kept saying this, and I'm going to repeat it this one time. Again, maybe probably more. It's not purely economics for the European Union. Like, I know what Theresa May is saying. Theresa May is arguing they're willing to put other interests above economics. Yeah, they are. The integrity of the European Union itself. Understand what I mean by this. The European Union, the last thing they want is countries leaving the European Union. And if those countries can leave the European Union and get a better deal than what they had when they were in the European Union, then what's the point of the European Union? No, they have every incentive in the world to make Britain hurt if Britain is going to leave. Now, the only thing they need to do to make Britain hurt is we're a rules-based organization. We can't change the rules for Britain. You're the one that decided to leave. We want to work with you. We're willing to do what we can to work with you, but we can't break the rules. If you follow our rules, then you can get access to the single market. Otherwise, we can't do it. Oh, and by the way, those rules involve freedom of movement, which was part of the reason that you used in order to get those people to vote out in the first place. You have Italy, who wants to leave. There's another, I don't want to say Slovakia, but it's not Slovakia. It's another country that also wants to leave. Or has, let's say, a Eurosceptic government that potentially will do things in order to try to get itself to leave. The last thing you want to do is give Britain a good deal. Again, you don't have to look like an asshole in the process. We're a rules-based organization. We're doing what we can to help Britain, but we can't break the rules. I mean, there's these other nations that are there that are part of us. I mean, we can't mess up the integrity of the European Union. You're the one that decided to leave. They hold all the cards. Theresa May is flustered, yeah, because for all intents and purposes, they hold all the cards. They have the single market at the UK. And all of these processes that have been in place for all of these years will hit a single remote nation, of course, worse than it would hit an entirety of a organization like the European Union. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but I'm just saying between the two, Britain is going to hurt worse. Stay tuned. Mad Max Brexit coming up. Thanks, guys. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through Patreon. And by the way, Super Chat is back active. Google, after turning it back on, refunded the monies that was held. I should say that I use the term stole because they essentially had monies that they owed to me that they didn't necessarily give to me at the time they were supposed to give to me. And if they decided to keep my account demonetized, yeah. But nevertheless, I don't know if it was just constant complaining, if it was the people who just bugged the shit out of them relentlessly. Look, I don't know. It's a faceless corporation that does what it does, and everybody else is just a deal. But in this case, I want to thank everybody who backed me up on this and bugged the hell out of them on my behalf. Not to mention the people who are supportive of using Streamlabs and everything else. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. But Theresa May, Humiliated, Salisbury, Mad Max Brexit, imminent. Grab your kids, grab your drugs, batten down the hatches. Get rid of your impact. And I don't mean that laughingly. I just mean, let me read you one thing before I end this. I'm sorry. One thing. This. They were asking people, what did you think? Like, if you had to write a letter or something like that, what did you think? I love this. What is it that the Tories don't understand after 2.5 years about the EU's 4 principles regarding the movement of people and trade? It has always said that we could not have access to the market without free movement of EU citizens. Also, it has always been stated that there will be no reinstatement of borders in Northern Ireland. Since the vote in 2016, the Tories have pretended that these lines weren't drawn. Yeah, this was infinitely predictable. I like the way that sounds. Infinitely predictable. Let's see who's here. Theresa May have made things worse. Maybe. Bullshit. There were no other nations that want to leave, not even the hardcores of it. What are you talking about? The Italian government, the 5-star movement. Are you shitting me? Yeah, dude. Now, I didn't say anything about Obama wanted to leave. I did say the 5-star movement. And yeah, we can debate that point. They were literally railing against the government, against the president, because the president didn't allow them to put their person in. That person being instrumental in I can't think of all the specifics of the details. But my point is, when they took power, they were supposed to have the ability to do something. The president disallowed them the ability to do it, in which case they railed against the president. The point is, the position that they were trying to fill with the Eurosceptic was put in that very specific position to make it difficult from the standpoint of a connection between Europe and Italy. That's exactly what they wanted to do. I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, I never said Obama wanted to leave. Countries considering leaving the EU: Denmark, Czech Republic, and Ireland. Ireland is not considered leaving the EU, not that I'm aware of. I don't know about the other two. France is not considering leaving the EU, nor is Sweden. The Italians are big talk like always. They're like a dog chasing a car, not knowing what to do when they get it. Maybe. Those guys look like true believers to me. I'm just saying, from a distance, they look like true believers. All right, I'm going to end this. If you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. And you can always support the Patreon. Thanks, guys. And once again, guys, thank you for your help with making the leap or making the jump between the shutdown to now. It's appreciated. Thanks all.